Hello, and welcome to Uncle Rico's Storytime. I am Uncle Rico. That is not my real name. It is an alias. This is Chico. He's my co-host. Welcome to Uncle Rico's Storytime. I got a new haircut. Yeah, I'm still not feeling it. I feel like I'm forcing it. It'll come. It'll come, buddy. Okay. Whew. What up? Was in the gym today watching old reruns of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and was reminded of an old regular of mine. This dude was a genius and a communist, I believe. But an absolute genius. He would come in, I was bartending at this spot in Omaha, and he would come in during the days and just get destroyed. Rumplements, straight rumpy shots, all day long, until he could barely walk or like puke. I had numerous situations where he had to like cover and the spit like sprays out all over the place. But he would just get retarded drunk and then be like head down on the bar, and I'm like, there's 3 or 4 people in there. They're hardcore drinkers, so I'm like, it's all good. But somebody had told me that he was a genius. And so I started like kind of talking to him and everything, and somebody told me that he can do the fastest finger questions like nobody's business. And if you're not privy with the show, they would bring in like 10 or 12 contestants, and they would say, do these in the order of whatever, and they'd give you 4 answers. And whoever would come up with the fastest time would advance on to this show. And so we were watching the show one day, and what the hell was his name? Clem? No. Does it Carl? No. Doesn't matter. I'm like, hey, wake up, man, wake up. And I go, dude, answer this next fastest finger question. And he like does one of these things. And gets on the TV. And the question was, rank these major U.S. newspapers by subscribers. And it had like, I don't even know, Boston Globe, Washington Post, U.S. Daily, I don't know. But it had like four newspapers up there. And the question was rank them, from lowest to highest. And the question came up, and he had like his eye like looking at the TV, and when it came up he like focused for a second, and then he went DCBA and put his head back down, and then he looked back up and goes DCBA and put his head back down, and sure enough, DCBA, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So I said, I nudged him again, and everybody, nudged him, and I go, how the fuck did you know that? Is it like a photographic memory? Do you have the numbers memorized of U.S. newspapers? And he's like, no, you gotta, da 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 da, and he said, the whatever is in this city and that population is that, but there's two other major newspapers in that area, so that would cut that the readers down to whatever. And then this one is out in LA but is shared with the other newspaper in that population, da 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 da. And he was like, not really quickly, but like explained how he came up with those. It wasn't like a memorization thing, it was just really fucking quickly using his brain to come up with the answer. Just completely snockered. God, but once he did that, I was just enthralled with him. He was a data entry. He did data entry something or other. It was like when I worked there, it was the same time as Friends was going on. So he said it's what Chandler does. And what's funny is because Chandler, you never really know, I don't think you really know what he does. The dude was just sharp as shit and witty. It came out later that, he was, it must have been a communist. And I almost wonder, like, maybe he was maybe something happened where, no, he could just very well be a drunk. A very, very bad drunk that has ruined his life. But, yeah, the guy is just a genius. And, got me thinking about that guy over in England again. That Alan Turing, which is, just heartbreaking. But, yeah, things are looking better for me now. The trucks are still not cooperating. Last year I owned 9 vehicles. I thought I was squared away with a nice Nissan Titan, and I just picked up a Nissan Frontier for gas mileage and trips in my dailies, and now just everything has gone wrong in both of them. So plugging away, found out there was a short in the negative terminal, and then a weird short in the clutch panel grommet bolt thing that activates, and there's something wrong with the connection in my ignition cylinder, and heading to Ohio in a bit, hoping to just leave both the trucks at mechanics and be like, here's a bunch of money, fix them. So I posted last time about a crazy person. I got a crazy person on my dash cam, and that got out of control. People were threatening me, sending me messages telling me I hope I got the lethal injection, which is a weird, I hope you get lethal injection, people like you, don't you ever talk to somebody like that out in public. Who the fuck is this guy? So, yeah, a lot of people jumping up to protect the crazy person, and that's, why we're in the state that we are in. I'm not saying we gotta lock this dude up and throw away the keys. I'm saying we gotta lock him up and get him help. Somebody should not be allowed to walk around and negatively affect society like that, walking into oncoming traffic, screaming at innocent people. He only screams and goes after moms and females and younger people. I tried to approach him and he backs down. But yeah, a lot of people were like, oh, you need to stop and understand, where people are coming from. You deserve to die. What the fuck? Do you even listen to what you're saying? Where is the same... What are you talking about? You need to be more understanding. I hope you fucking die. People have just lost it. And every day I'm more and more positive that, social media are just, the brunt of people are just on there to pick fights and argue and stuff, and a lot of them are brain dead. I don't know why the hell I'm on there. I got into it with this guy over the Packers draft, and I had to keep telling him, I'm like, dude, we're saying the same thing. I don't think he's gonna be that good. Like, that's what you originally fucking said. So the Packers took a wide receiver in the first round this year, finally. I think there was a sleeper wide receiver that had some amazing workouts that started climbing up draft boards. And I think they had their eye on this guy. A lot of teams fell in love with this kid. And Carolina, I think, took him at number 8. And I think what the Packers did was they were bummed that they just kind of stuck. They were bummed that they missed out on their guy, but they just stuck with the wide receiver thing and took their next highest grade up, which was this Golden kid from Notre Dame, who looks, he's got some great measurements and he's fast, but watching the tape, you just never see him really blow by anybody. You never see his speed translate onto the field. You never see him run by double coverage. You never see a big catch when he's double covered. I don't think I saw any double coverage on him at all. But I really wish they would have taken a corner. There were 3 or 4 really talented DBs. This kid from Michigan slid all the way down to Arizona. Will McDonald, just really sharp, shutdown, tackling, corner, big play guy, picks. I don't know what the hell was going on, but there was another speedster from East Carolina who took the sport up late and was overcoming learning disabilities and stuff that looked awesome. Just very humble guy. Just a couple really good, intriguing corners there. They took a wide receiver again. Now we've got 7 wide receivers with talent. So we're letting somebody go. Could very well be my boy Christian Watson. He's just always injured. They'd never let that kind of talent go. He's got top level talent. If he stays healthy, gets on a roll, he can be real dangerous. But either way, we got 7 talented, 8 talented. I think our 8th wide receiver now is a guy that we just signed, Mecole Hardman. Which I guess he might be returning kicks, and I think this Golden kid is going to do that. So I think Hardman is probably on that signing. Maybe they can trade or something. But it was a pretty cool draft. It was in Green Bay. I wanted to go back for it, but didn't get a chance to it. Shedeur Sanders plummeted like a rock. And of course, a lot of people were saying it was a racial thing, but honestly, Johnny Football just came through and at least tried to hide his attitude. And we all saw what we got from him. So, it wasn't that, the drop that far was surprising. But, I think a lot of NFL people, his attitude rubbed them the wrong way, and it's still a job interview. You still got to kiss ass and not be a dick. So I think the poor kid, it was a victim of his own undoing, and his dad put way too much pressure on him. His dad is 100% at fault, but who knows? Maybe the guy uses this as fuel and rips it up and proves everybody wrong and proves his dad right for retiring his number, and it'd be pretty cool. Also, Watched some movies last night that really messed me up. Uh, King of Staten Island was a lot more emotional than I thought it was going to be. And it didn't mess me up, but I think it opened me up a bit for the next one. Blink Twice. I watched it because the dude in the lead is pretty funny. The male lead. But dude, it's a messed up movie. And spoiler alert, like crazy, because I'm sure not a lot of people have watched it, but it's on Netflix, and it's about a group of girls that get kind of squirreled away by rich, you know, uh, celebrity types and tech moguls, and the one guy has his own island, so these girls are getting drugged and can't remember any bad parts of any experiences, and the whole movie is predicated on how if it's the bad things are even worse, then the drug works even better, and these girls repress it even more. So, but the way that the movie unfolds, it was a tough movie to get through because it unfolded slowly, but then once you get to the end, it makes sense why the director did it that way, because these girls are struggling with the memory of it. So it was tough to get through the first part, and then once they figured out what was going on, they start remembering pieces, and the pieces are really graphic, and some of it is hard to get through. I turned it off at one point, but I'm glad I turned it back on, because right after that, and again, spoiler alert, the hard part is a pretty not graphic like nude or anything, but graphic like just the way it's like a slow pan, and it's a pretty graphic, basically group rape. But once you start watching the movie, then hi baby, oh god, you're so cute. Come on, come up here, and say hi. There you go, big boy. Once you keep watching the movie, then the guys start getting destroyed, which is awesome, but I don't think enough, because if you think about the movie after you're done watching it, which I did, because it fucked me up and I kept thinking about the different stuff, is you realize that with this premise of these guys trying to be as soon as, because the whole time they like doubt on them and give them like new outfits every day and stuff like this, and when they're great, and then I think the premise behind it is then once they turn into evil monsters, they're evil monsters. But when you think about this movie, you realize, like, she uncovers a closet with all these Polaroids of different girls. So, okay, these 3 or 4 guys have done this to countless women. Okay, and then you start thinking about, like, over and over again, these girls are like, what day is it? I don't know. You know, they're drinking, it's constantly, they have servants filling up their champagne and stuff. and at night after dinner they're doing what they think is like Molly, but it's more of this drug. The drug is a perfume. So they, you when you think about it afterwards, you think about like, okay, if they've been there, like if it's a binge filled, bender, then they've been there a week, you know, and then you start thinking about like they've these fucking monsters have been doing this every night, you know. They don't. It's not like they fucking take a break. And then once you realize what they're doing, it's like when they're nice to the girls, they're always like, "Hey, are you having a good time?" And the girls are always like, "I'm having a great time," because they don't remember all the other shit, like the bad stuff. Which I think you would. If you were a chick, you would know, I think, in your body whether or not you're getting raped in the morning when you wake up. I don't know. But either way. So I'm thinking about all this other shit and how much evilness they have put out. And then in the movie, a lot of them die in some graphic ways, but not graphic enough, man. You know, you can drag some of it out on them. One dude gets smashed in the head a couple of times over and over again with like a cement, like it looks like the top of a toilet, but it's like, probably tile or something. And then he's left in the house to burn alive, But you gotta imagine that. You're like, oh yeah, that dude took it pretty hard. But other than that, one dude took like a knife in the face a couple of times. One other dude, the one guy, the worst guy, the head guy, ended up getting left alone. And he's heavily, well, I won't spoil that part, but it just, man, it messed with me. Because I feel like they should have got a little bit more, chop off a penis or something. But yeah, some problematic movies last night. King of Staten Island was good. It was just emotional. Thought it would be more like funny fuck around. Haha. But yeah, it was a good flick. The little Apatow girl actress was in it, and she's in college now, so she did a good job. I wonder if it's an Apatow movie. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. But yeah, the Blink Twice was. I don't know. Would that be cathartic? Maybe not the scene, not the one scene, but the deaths of the guys. It might be, because they all got their just reward. Should have been a little bit more though. I think a castration would have been in order. But yeah, so those are the rants and ravings of. I was gonna go down to a movie premiere tonight, but I'm not. Peace out.